This is your host, Brandon Iglesias, and I'm here at Storj Labs HQ in Atlanta. Going to give you a tutorial on how to set up your V3 storage node. So we recently started sending invites out to the community for anyone who was on our V3 waitlist. So if you received one of those invitations, we're really eager for you to join the network and start earning reputation and storage tokens. So let's just dive right into it. You should have received an email invitation that looks like this. We've got a lot of content that we've released recently in terms of how to be a successful storage node operator, so please check out our blog. The email also contains a single-use authorization token that you're going to need to sign your Node ID certificate, and then it has the setup instructions and a couple of links for support. I've got the setup instructions pulled up already. There's one thing to take note of before you set up your storage node. There's a couple of dependencies that you need to install or set up. One of them is Docker. So please visit docker.com. They have great installation guides. And then the other thing that you need to do is set up DDNS and port forwarding. Our knowledge base has an article on this that is super useful. And then you could also visit portforward.com to get some more information on this. The port that you need to forward is 28967. So once you have those dependencies set up and installed, you're going to be ready to set up your V3 storage node. So to start setting up your storage node, the first thing you're going to do is download the identity tool. So I'm running Mac OS. So I'll just go ahead and download and unzip that tool. And then navigate to the directory where you unzip that tool. So I've got that tool in my downloads folder, identity Darwin AMD64. And if you just run that command, what's going to happen is it's going to list out all the different flags and available commands that the identity tool has. The ones that we're going to be most interested in are the authorize and the create command. So in order to create your node ID, you're going to use create storage node. And this has a default difficulty of 30. So as you can see, my computer is just going to keep generating keys until it finds a key with the correct difficulty. This process can take anywhere from an hour to 12 or even 24 hours or longer. It really just depends on how beefy your computer is and how many different tries or how frequently you could try and generate a key. So you could see I've already generated 13,000 keys and I haven't found one yet. So this is probably going to take a few hours. So we're just going to let this run and come back to it. So once you find a node ID that matches the correct difficulty, this is what your screen is going to look like. And the next step is going to be to sign your node ID's certificate. So in order to do that, we're going to run the authorize storage node command. And that command actually takes an authorization token. So the authorization token you should have received in the email, and that authorization token does include your email, so please don't leave that part out. So once I run that command, you'll see that my node ID was successfully signed by the certificate authority, and that means that I'm ready to move on to the next step, which is to download the Docker container. So to download the Docker container, you're just going to do a Docker pull. This is going to pull the Docker container from Docker Hub. And then once it's done downloading that Docker container, we're going to move on to the next step and do the Docker run command. The Docker run command is going to set up and run your storage node. And there's going to be a few values that you need to change in order to run it successfully. So those values include wallet, email, address, bandwidth, storage, identity dir, which you can take from one of the previous commands. When you authorized your storage node, it actually printed the identity dir. And then the other thing that you need to specify is storage dir, which is where you want the files to be stored on your computer. So I already have that command written out. And that's it. My storage node is actually now running on the V3 network. It's pretty crazy. In order to see what's going on with my storage node, I do need to start a dashboard. We've got a command to start a dashboard. And this dashboard gives you some pretty neat metrics. It tells you what your node ID is. It tells you how much bandwidth and storage space you allocated to the network. And it also tells you how much bandwidth and storage space you've already used for your storage node. So don't be alarmed if this takes a second. It's totally normal. But you'll see my dashboard is going to start up and it's going to tell me how many node connections I have and my ID and all those fun facts. So that's all it takes to set up your storage node. We think this is a major improvement from the V2 network, and it's only going to continue to get better. This is definitely an early release, so there is a little bit of friction, and that's going to get better over time. We promise. We are looking for feedback and ideas for how to make the software better. So if you do have any feedback and ideas, please visit our ideas portal. You can find the link for that on the email that you received with your single use authorization token. If you find any bugs, please visit our GitHub and open up a GitHub issue. And then if you need any help setting up your storage node, please visit Rocket Chat. We have a channel called Storage Node, and that's going to be the best place for you to get help on how to set up DDNS and port forwarding, and Docker is not installing. Like, we have a whole bunch of developers and our amazing community leaders. They're going to be able to guide you and really get you onto the V3 network so you can start earning reputation and storage tokens. Have a good one.